Hey golfers, Drew Mahowald here with Second Swing Golf, joined by Jake Montgomery in the Tour Van Fitting Bay, Second Swing Minnetonka, and today's a fun one. Scottie Scheffler, if you're paying attention to professional golf, he's been on kind of a heater in 2025. Slow start for his standards, didn't win right away, and now he won't stop winning. As of the recording of this. We are filming this shortly after the Memorial Tournament, which gave him, I think, 3 wins in 4 starts, including a major. And for a couple of those wins, he had a 7-wood in the bag. So we've got his build right here, TaylorMade Qi35. And we'll talk specs here shortly, but just, Jake, can you talk to me about 7-woods, the popularity you've seen in fittings, and then maybe describe the reasons why Scottie would play a 7-wood in his bag?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm really glad that these have become more popular over the years. They're a very useful club for a lot of people. I mean, tour players like Scottie Scheffler or your grandpa that's playing every Sunday morning.
Right.
They just have a lot of loft on them, very low center of gravity, and they spin a lot. What that equals is just high peak height, steep land angle, and a lot of spin.
Yep.
Most players in this category of the bag do not spin enough. Even with a hybrid, it's kind of more of a bullet trajectory. We're getting into a 7-wood, a 9-wood, an 11-wood. It's just kicking the ball much higher, higher spin, steeper land angle, just lands a lot softer. It allows them to control the distance a lot more. If you have any kind of trouble in front of the green, you can't roll a hybrid up there. You need something that's going to stay high and stop. So this has been an area of the bag that a lot of players have gone to. Now, the reason that high-end tour players like it is because Scottie Scheffler can hit this 140 feet in the air and then get to stop within 2 feet of landing on the green.
Yep.
So it allows them to be very, very precise, which is, again, a lot of spin and control.
Yeah, and then I think the other benefit too that I've noticed in talking points from some of these tour players at this level, maybe not necessarily the weekend warrior or anybody that, or most people that come in and get fit for them necessarily are worried about this part, but is hitting out of that really thick rough.
Yes.
That they'll see at the PGA Championship or they see at Muirfield for the Memorial Tournament, where a utility iron doesn't glide through that grass very well, whereas a 7-wood can kind of get underneath the ball a little bit more efficiently and pop it out of there.
Yeah.
So anyway, specs time now. So Scottie Scheffler's build for the 7-wood, TaylorMade Qi35, as I mentioned. It's a 7-wood plated at about 20 degrees aloft. He's got a Fujikura Ventus Black 9X shaft, playing at, I think, 41 3/8 inches, roughly. And then it's tipped 2 inches. And then as far as the grip, there are 6 wraps of tape under both sides. And the swing weight's around D4. So we've built all of that. We have several of them that we built in our build shop. You hear those specs, Jake. What are your thoughts on that fit? I mean, obviously, we're talking about the best player in the world, someone who swings the club with some decent speed. What jumps out at you from those numbers?
So, I mean, the biggest thing to me is just a 9X tip 2 inches. Don't put that in a 7-wood a whole lot.
Yeah.
That's more of an effort for him bringing flight down. Because the one player where this doesn't always work is really, really fast ball speed. We have a guy at the store that any 7-wood I would give him, he's hitting 170 feet in the air.
Yeah. Just
because the more speed you have, the higher the ball goes already. So I think that's all in an effort just to bring flight and spin down a little bit more. Some players, like even Rocco, they really like something that's very, very stiff because it feels like it gives them a lot of control.
Yeah.
So I think the whole reason behind that is just feel, lowering spin, and just managing peak height a little bit more.
Yeah, I think, and that's clearly, I mean, it's working for him.
Yeah.
And he has relied on that club for a couple big wins here in 2025. So yeah, we just want to test it out today, get some initial numbers. And actually, we'll start with Jake because Jake has a 7-wood in the bag. And we were talking about this off camera, but your build isn't that, I mean, it's, the tipping of the shaft and things are very different, but you have a similar shaft at least in your 7-wood. So talk me through that. Yeah,
so I have the Qi35 tour head in my 7-wood. It's actually set to 20 degrees as well. It has the Ventus Black Velocor Plus 8X in it. So it's a little bit lighter. It's definitely not as tip stiff as this one. But it is a similar shaft profile and a similar lofted head. The reason I switched to that one, I had a Rogue ST in the past, is I can draw it and it spins really, really low and it goes a mile, or I can cut it and it spins a lot and it lands very soft.
Sure.
So that's kind of why that club has a spot in my bag. I'm just curious how this is going to compare because this is a higher spin head than what I currently play, but the shaft is much lower spin.
Perfect. Well, yeah, let's hit a few shots here.
Yeah, let's do it. Little pulley.
All right, so first rip with it. Initial just feel thoughts on that.
Very stiff.
Yeah.
Like, I really have to work at it to get the club through. That one there, I think, was a little bit of an overcompensation to hands-wise. Just really got them shut.
Yeah. Almost like you swung it back. You're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
You're
100%.
just like-
I kind of really felt it like right here. I was like, okay, I got to chase that thing to get it down. That was better.
Oh, that's a good ball right there.
Yeah, that'll work.
So, and with this club, I mean, I guess for you, what are the numbers that you play out of your 7-wood? You know, since it's pretty similar loft and shaft.
I'm usually spinning this around 4,000, launching at 11, like I just on a stock shot.
Yeah.
So I mean that's
pretty good.
Pretty close.
Yeah. Okay.
About 235 to 230 carry is kind of what I usually shoot for with this. Like I said, if I need to hit something really long, especially I'll do it off the tee, put it back in my stance and kind of hit like a bullet draw.
Okay.
And that won't carry as far, but it'll roll out a little bit more. And then vice versa, if I hit my cut, it'll carry a little further, but it's going to stop much faster.
That's sort of that bleeder almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was even better, yeah.
Yeah, and some more good speed there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense that you'd hit, you hit this pretty good because again, it's not totally different from what's already in your bag. You basically have a Jake Montgomery spec 7-wood in your bag versus the Scottie, but it's the same club head, similar shaft.
It's very consistent for the ball speed.
So that one spun a little bit lower. I noticed, so that's at 33, 3,400. These were 40. Okay. That spin is kind of fluctuating a little bit, but the carry distance isn't really. I mean, we're within a 3-yard deviation. So you can hit one more here, but I just wanted to point that out, that the spin's gone a little bit up and down. That could be impact location or something, but it's still doing what you need it to do. That 235-ish carry, 240 carry.
A little chunky.
So this will spin lower.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's the miss, I mean,
yeah, I'll take that.
That's totally fine. Look at that. So, I'd say you had 3 really, really good shots.
Yep.
And I'd say there was the pull that you started with there, which still went the same distance.
Yep.
And then you had your kind of maybe slight miss hit out to the right.
Yeah.
Still carried at 234. Not too bad.
No, not at all. I'm honestly pretty pleased with how I hit that, considering the shaft that's in here. I mean, this is the stiffest thing I've ever hit.
Yeah.
Like it kind of felt like rebar. I'm not shocked to see that one outright because, like I said, it's really hard to get this thing to load and come through.
Right.
I'm really curious how the peak height looked at the.
Let's go here. Yeah. So your average peak height was 112.
112 and 44 and a half. I mean,
these numbers are pretty good.
Again, I mean, that's why you kind of end up in this club is that peak height land angle. That's about my 6-iron numbers as far as height at apex and land angle goes. So I mean, that's where this comes into play, is like you can hit it 240 in the air but land it like a 6-iron.
Yeah. Now,
who doesn't want that?
Unfortunately, we don't have. Well, I mean, it'd be cool to and maybe TaylorMade's YouTube channel has it somewhere. I don't know, but like comparing Scottie's 7-wood numbers with this build versus his. Actually, no, I know TaylorMade won't have it on their channel because his utility irons are not TaylorMade clubs.
True.
He's playing Shrixon ZU85s, I believe. But it'd be awesome to see those differences, because I imagine there's a difference in the height and the land angle of his 3 utility iron and his 7-wood. I would imagine.
If I had to guess, I would say his carry's probably closer to 260 with this club, and his peak height's probably closer to 130.
Yeah. Or kind of like you, he maybe his stock shot is 250, 260, and then he has kind of maybe a high cut that he wants to hit into par 5s. That might be like a 245 or a 250 or something. But yeah, this has been that's Scottie Scheffler's 7-wood kind of the build.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a few whacks if you're okay with that.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Yeah, this thing is. It's also, for me, as not playing a 7-wood. It's a lot of loft to look at.
100%.
For a wood. Because I have currently I've been testing 7-woods, but I haven't really put anything in the bag.
Yeah.
And so it's just a lot of loft to look at.
But I can tell you from firsthand experience, hitting this thing out of the rough or really bad lies is pretty easy.
Really?
I mean, in league last week, I had one where it was kind of like on a tough in the fairway. Like, It was more of a 4-iron distance, but there was no way I was getting clean contact on it.
Right.
Hit a Qi35 one, and the contact was just perfect. Hit the number I wanted. Like, it's just a very useful club to have.
The that first swing was a classic. Like, I had the same awakening you did, where mid swing I'm like, oh my goodness, this thing is. Let's see if I can kind of figure it out here.
That was better.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That'll work.
Big high draw. See, that's the shot that I would love to have if I was playing a 7-wood.
100%.
Look at that attack angle, 0.0. Zeroed out, they say. That was maybe a tiny bit fat.
Yeah.
So the spin went down, but I love how it's still 113 feet in the air.
Absolutely. Land nail still remaining up pretty good, even though the spin dropped down. Your ball speed's great. 149, 148 smash factor back to back.
Yeah. See, I feel like I am ripping at this ball.
Yeah.
You know, because this thing, I mean, this is a lot of golf club you have to swing. Ooh, the club face was slightly open there.
Yeah.
As in, like, the house might be in. Oh, that's not too bad.
All right. Went really high. 152 feet in the air.
That was just like a toe and face open deal.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get one more here, but. Oh, another bad one. And now we're starting to see why I don't play this build. Okay. I will say, though, for as bad as those last two swings felt, I actually... Okay, yeah, that's why I don't play this club. Or this build. This is why
It's a little
Scottie
hard if you
Scheffler.
get that face closed.
I think this is just, it's too much golf club for me.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why Scottie Scheffler, his swing speed, is playing this. But overall, the numbers aren't like, I'm not like, these averages are fine. You know, obviously the height and the land angle and stuff are a little skewed because of a couple of those being open, but there's something to be said for me, and I probably do have a lot of scenarios, a lot of courses where I could use a club like this.
Yep.
Something I could hit high enough, carry at about 240, 245, you know, and see the benefits of that ball flight. The course I currently play a lot, I don't really need something like this, but it's kind of a way to explain why 7-woods are so popular and why even like Scottie Scheffler needs to play one in his bag sometimes. I mean, it's pretty good. But anything jump out at you numbers wise, or anything just from my series of shots there?
Yeah, I mean, your launching was a little higher, just hands are a little bit more open there, but your spin rate, again, it didn't spike a ton. Like on these shots here, you can see 5,000 spin out of it.
Yeah.
And we're not. And I think that kind of comes down to, again, the way that shaft's built.
Yeah.
Because we're both on the higher end of speed where we can get spins spiking on us in this style of club.
Yeah.
I think that shaft is doing a lot of work to keep that down because there is a lower spin option in the TaylorMade family. There's the Qi35 Tour, 7-wood head. And he's playing the spinnier option. So I really do think that shaft setup is really just meant to kind of mitigate the spin and make sure the height kind of stays flatlined. We had one here where you caught it with real fast ball speed. It was open and got it to 152.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, your height is pretty normalized there. I mean, seeing a land angle in the upper 40s, peak height right around 120, that's pretty standard for this club, even on a shot where we were leaving it out to the right. And then the ones that we did turn over here, peak height was still 122 and 113.
Yeah. You could even tell, too, that first shot, I was just like, all right, let's just get loose here and figure out how much I got to swing this club with a 99 club speed. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's just an indication, I think. You know, one of the things I wanted to hit on kind of in this video is why Scottie Scheffler plays this club. And I think, you know, not that we're swinging like Scottie Scheffler, but I think just in seeing the numbers on our swing speed kind of indicates that height, that landing angle, those are things that these players are looking for. And then I think the last thing we'd have to really test, which we can't in here, but it's just like how it would play out of thick rough, you know, which I think you've even noted in your experience playing a 7-wood is that on, you know, thick rough, being able to get the ball underneath or the club underneath the ball is another advantage to playing one of these versus like a 3-iron or even a 3 hybrid, something like that. So, but yeah, this has been good. It's been cool. I'm sure Scottie will have just some more success, just a little bit more success on his current trajectory. But yeah, Jake, thanks for swinging by and you know, hitting a pretty cool build here. We got stay tuned to secondswing.com. I think these are going to be limited availability, so there might be some available by the time this video's out. But check it out. Scottie Scheffler 7-wood build. Thanks again, Jake.
No problem.